Hello everybody! So, it was Dewey's 24-hour readathon over the weekend. I only got to partake in about 10 hours of it, but I'm still quite pleased with what I got done. I got pretty much my whole TBR done, slightly off, but that's okay because it was an MBR. I wasn't thinking that I was going to get as much as I did read, so that's good. So I started with All My Friends Are Superheroes by Andrew Kaufman. I loved this. This was my 5-star. This was my best read of the readathon. I absolutely adored it. Bit of a shame that I started with this one because I think I loved this so much that the other books kind of fell a bit short because they weren't as good as this one. But I absolutely adored this. Basically, this is about a man called Tom who is quite mediocre, but everybody he knows and his wife and his friends are all superheroes. He's just got married to the perfectionist. Obviously, her superpower is that she likes things to be perfect and she can will things to be perfect with her mind. On their wedding night, her ex, the hypnotist, hypnotised her so that she couldn't see Tom anymore. So she thinks that he's left her and that she has to move away and start this brand new life. Tom has been with her the whole time and he's trying to constantly come up with ways that he can make himself known to her. This follows them on a plane journey. She's moving away, she wants to start again, and Tom is next to her the whole time and is trying to get her to notice him because he knows that this is his last chance before she goes off to her new life. And flashback to their relationship and Tom's past relationships and around to the other superheroes. The nice thing about this is that all the superheroes are, their powers are quite mediocre things, and it's quite sweet. Like, you've got the perfectionist, you've got the TV girl who can cry television, you've got the broken-hearted man who has a broken heart. Like, it's quite sweet little things. But basically, this was just fantastic, and it's so beautifully romantic. It's basically about the issues with relationships, the times when maybe we are a bit blind to each other, and the way that we can overcome them, the way that love can overcome them. And it was just genuinely so sweet. I've highlighted a bit because the writing was fantastic, and this was a particularly romantic bit. Throughout this I was just going, "Ah!" The perfectionist pushed Tom onto her bed. She took off his shirt, she took off his shoes and his socks, she took off his pants, she took off his boxers. With most guys, the perfectionist would stop there. She didn't. She was still feeling reckless. She took off his skin. She took off his nervous system. She lifted up his rib cage, his heartbeat in her hand, and there, underneath it, she found a jewelled golden box. She opened it. Inside she found his hopes, his dreams and his fears. She stared at them. She was surprised to find them there, and surprised at how beautiful they were. At that exact moment, the perfectionist fell in love with Tom. How sweet! It's like that all the way through. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Definitely recommend. Then I read The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I have to say, this was where I kind of felt like reading All My Friends Are Superheroes first, because it was really lovely and straightforward and simple language. I feel like going into this, it took me a while to adjust because this is obviously a much older text. I was also not aware how small the writing was when I picked this as being a short read, but it took me a few pages to get into the different style, which is, I think, a lot of the time the problem with a readathon like Dewey's, is that you're going from one thing to another and it can sometimes be a bit jolting. But I did enjoy this. I wouldn't rave about it. I gave it 3 stars. I don't know whether I was just not in the mood after reading a book that I absolutely adored. It was okay. This is about a governess who goes to work with 2 children and she starts seeing strange apparitions and ghosts. Never quite sure whether she's just going a bit crazy with the responsibility of these 2 children and her fear that they are going to be taken by these ghosts, or whether they are actually there. And it's quite interesting. The children in this are absolutely horrible. I really didn't like them at all. I don't know if they were meant to be horrible, but they just, they grated on me. I found them obnoxious. But it's quite interesting, and it sort of looks at sanity and ghostly goings on, and it's a good one for Halloween. Then I read the second in the series Unfortunate Events, The Reptile Room. I will not be carrying on with this series. I didn't like the first one. I thought I'd give them a go because I've got the whole series. I'm just going to give them away, to be honest. I hated this even more than the first one. I just find the adults are just completely irresponsible to the point where it beggars belief. I mean, what? Why? So basically, for those of you who don't know, these are about the Baudelaire orphans whose parents died in a fire, and in the last book they went to stay with their evil Count Olaf, and things didn't go very well for them, but Olaf is still at large, so you can kind of guess what's going to happen in this one. Just didn't like. I also don't like the writing style. I find it quite grating and a bit patronising. I know they're for kids, but equally, if I had read this as a kid, I think I would have been like, really? So yeah, didn't love it. It seemed to really lay out what's happening and explain too much for me, too much. Maybe if I had read them when I was younger I would feel differently, but sadly I just don't get on with them. Then I finished with half of Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. I got to page 60 on this. I'm not going to wrap this up here because that's cheating. I didn't actually finish it in the readathon, but I will talk about this in my main wrap up at the end of the month. So I didn't do too badly considering I did only take part in less than half of the readathon. It's a shame. I would have liked to take part more, and it's typical because I never do anything and I just happened to have plans this weekend. But I'm still happy that I got my TBR done, and I'm glad also that I kept my TBR quite small because I think otherwise I might have got a bit frustrated that I hadn't finished everything. So I hope everyone else had an excellent readathon. Link me to your wrap-up videos down below. I can't wait to see what you all read, and I will see you soon. Bye!